I'm Father Gustavo Calderon, the Jesuit Provincial of Ecuador and the president of the Working Boys Center, a family of families.
The center was founded in 1964 by Father John Halligan, a Jesuit from the Bronx, and joined 3 years later by Madre Miguel, a sister of Charity of the Blessed Virgin Mary and educator, to help the young shoeshine boys who were working on the streets of Quito. Meals, housing, and education were provided to more than 200 working boys, but it was quickly learned through the center's work that in order to address poverty and for the people to truly have an opportunity to leave situations of grave vulnerability, the entire family needed to participate. So after 10 years of service in 1974, the center had enough support to offer integral family programming for the entire family. That's when we became the WBC, a family of families. Over our rich 55-year history, the Working Boys Center has accompanied and supported more than 6,000 families in leaving the cycle of educational, economic, and spiritual poverty forever. During these continued times of uncertainty, we're hopeful this message finds you and yours well and in good health. Here in Quito, we are continuing to fight the widespread virus by addressing the most basic of needs for our community: medical attention, food accessibility, and spiritual accompaniment. When the pandemic came to Ecuador, it hit the coast, Guayaquil, the largest city in Ecuador, and slowly made its way to Quito, Ecuador's capital.
The center, as well as all the schools in Ecuador and most other organizations, closed their doors in mid-March. The city was on a government-mandated lockdown until earlier this summer. This means that there was an extremely strict curfew beginning at 2 p.m. until 5 a.m. Public transportation ceased services, interprovincial and international travel was prohibited, and only grocery stores and essential businesses were open. The number of people infected has continued to rise, and for months, Quito was at a standstill. Hospitals continue to be at maximum capacity, and many businesses have had to close permanently. However, we knew that our work at the center could not stop, even in a global health pandemic. Our 310 families need us now more than ever before. Our doctors, our school psychologists, and spiritual advisors reached out to each of our families to talk about the virus, the best practices to protect themselves if they needed to leave their home, and tools to cope and distress during quarantine. Our medical team hosted virtual health checks for our members to discuss any potential symptoms or other health concerns during the countrywide quarantine. And through local alliances with local businesses like the Quito Food Bank, TIA, a large grocery chain, and our food providers, we were and continue to be able to provide our community with nutritious food kits every 2 weeks. For most of our families, these kits have been supplemental, but for some, it has been their only source of food. For those who have been to the center, this is our comedor or cafeteria. It is usually divided into the space to celebrate Mass, and then the other half is where our family of families break bread and share the 3 meals a day provided by your generous donations. But since the pandemic began in mid-March, it has been converted into our own food bank. From the beginning of the countrywide quarantine until now, we have provided more than 100,000 people with provision kits, so that means every 2 weeks our member families have received kits, and we have also helped out our neighbors throughout the north of Quito. As you can see, our team is busy measuring dry goods and packaging up the provision kits for our families. Although mostly dry goods, such as rice, flour, salt, sugar, and oats. We also add in oil, a sweet treat for the kiddos, and depending on items received, fresh produce. When the official quarantine began, we were in the middle of the second semester and classes needed to continue. Our teachers and volunteers continue with their classes by any means necessary. For most families, classes were held via video chat on the family cell phone, as most of our families do not have access to a computer. Creativity was key for our educators. YouTube videos, Zoom calls, Facebook, and WhatsApp group chats were critical tools in helping our students finish the academic year. For our families that didn't have access to a smartphone, work and projects were printed out, and when the parents came to pick up the food kits, they would also pick up their children's activities and then drop them off for the teacher in another 2 weeks. On September 2nd, we began the 2020-21 school year, and although we continue to face technological difficulties, our educators, our students, and their families are doing their best to provide instruction and to learn at a distance. I was fortunate enough to be able to celebrate various masses with the Working Boys Center workers and with our family of families around the world via Zoom over the months of quarantine. We shared in prayer and in communion with one another. We shared our worries and our fears, what we also shared in gratitude and in hope. Our pastoral team also worked closely with our community through virtual accompaniment sessions. So, if an individual or the family unit were having difficulties with quarantine and they wanted spiritual guidance, our pastoral team was able to provide the necessary tools and resources to help. When the pandemic first hit Ecuador, we had to shut down most of our operations. In-person classes, family sessions, and our production line. Before quarantine, our carpentry workshop here at the center was financially self-sustainable and had almost 20 employees, with the majority of whom were former Working Boys Center members. In mid-May, we found the opportunity to innovate our production proposal, and we were finally given to the go-ahead to start up production and incorporate 12 of our team members back into fold. And since that green light, we have completed close to 400 orders, which averages to 20 orders a week. Our carpentry team is continuing to innovate and create unique designs like 5 different convertible bookcase desks, various shelving units, and didactic toys to aid in learning from home. Our metal mechanics workshop opened up a week after carpentry, taking advantage of the workshop's equipment, and they have been busy creating a shoe sanitizing tray, a touchless hail dispenser, and a combined coat and shoe rack to help our neighbors prevent the spread of the virus. Since the end of May, our team of 4 has produced over 115 orders, averaging 10 orders per week. Some of our current high school seniors and members of the first graduating class of the Working Boys Center have been working as interns with our technical education teachers, Alberto and Jean-Pierre. This year, we have reopened our sewing workshop with 5 center mothers under the leadership of a local designer. While 3 of our center moms have sewing experience, 2 are learning on the job. Veronica, Giovanna, Miriam, Anita, and Margarita are using 3 different sewing machines and are taking part in learning the various steps to the production process, from choosing fabric and cutting forms to making adjustments, etc. Thus far, our team has designed, created, and supplied over 70 masks and hazmat suits for our team here at the center and for any neighbors interested. as well as 10 customized mask orders for international organizations, foundations, and parishes there in the States. Our products comply with the standards recommended by the World Health Organization. As the world continues to combat the COVID-19 virus, we must remember to live with faith and hope. Throughout this extremely difficult and frightening time, our community has united, and together we are stronger than ever. The Center's mission to serve families in situations of great vulnerability continues on, and it's because of your support that our work lives on. Our family of families is truly blessed for your prayers and your generosity. We would not be able to continue to accompany and serve the most vulnerable in Quito without your help. Your partnership with the Working Boys Center, a family of families, is a blessing. We hope you can come and visit us soon. Thanks a lot.